been looking for early mammals in places across the American West for more or less the last 20 years. More recently, let's say in the last 8 to 10 years, I'm interested in finding mammal fossils that tell us something about the kind of the earliest origins of our most immediate ancestors. And that likely happened in the Jurassic sometime. The rocks across southern Utah record most of the history of the Mesozoic, so the age of dinosaurs. The Morrison Formation in particular is known for recording a rich variety of terrestrial life, famously dinosaurs, but it's also got one of the best records of early mammals. We worked the Morrison Formation extensively all around this area, walked it looking for the kind of site that would give us small mammals. Finding, nice bits and pieces here and there of small dinosaur bone, crocodile bone, bits of turtles, things that were smoke but not fire. And it was just sort of serendipity that a little bitty bone half the size of your finger, pinky finger, happened to be sticking out at the top of this little gray hill. The act of looking takes a search image, some planning. Finding is often a lot of serendipity, but you can't just start banging into any particular hill. This one had some good indications that it had fun stuff in it. We'll take blocks of rock from the quarry face. We have to kind of consider the entire quarry surface to be just as potentially productive as anything else. It's all got to get processed. And we'll try to roll out as big of a block as possible from the face of the quarry. Each time we roll these over, make sure that we don't have a matching bone surface on here and there where the rock broke through the middle of a fossil. And if we don't see anything on it, then we will take a piece of rock, high-tech tool, Harbor Freight, and turn a rock into smaller pieces of rock. And each time this rock breaks, we look at the surface, see if we see any bone. Again, we have to find things by breaking them. And then we take our smaller rock and we keep breaking them into smaller pieces of rock. Okay, so occasionally we'll split these rocks open, and the rock tends to be light colored and the bone much darker. So what we've got here is this piece of bone here that we split. So we'll circle with a Sharpie the matching faces, and it turns out that this one also had a second piece of bone broken on this side. And again, circle them so we can put them back together, and then they'll get wrapped up for safe transport back to the museum. Bone in this unit is, in this particular site, is laid down sort of at random and in 3 dimensions without bedding planes. It's sort of hard to delicately explore it. So we take these blocks, hit them with a little sledgehammer, turn them into smaller blocks, look at the faces, see if we've broken through any pieces of bone or bits of skeleton. Those pieces get wrapped up delicately as we can using state-of-the-art techniques like toilet paper and masking tape, stabilize with a little bit of glue if we need to, and then back at the museum you rarely see more than just a fragment of a bone sticking out of the surface of a rock when you don't have any clear indication of what's inside. So micro CT scanning has been a great tool to take a lot of the guesswork out of which blocks of rock are of high interest and which can be set aside for exploration later. Named the site the Cisco Mammal Quarry. Mammals seem to be the most abundant group of terrestrial vertebrates that we found so far, and that's really, really remarkable. Mammals we know were around pretty much everywhere, but their fossils tend to be really rare. Little, delicate, not the kind of thing that survives the process of fossilization very well. Morrison Formation was laid down by an enormous river system that stretched kind of across the central kind of mountainous portion of the modern day United States, from about the Canadian border down to New Mexico. Drained a vast area of mostly arid land, probably similar to what you'd find in East Africa today, Okavango Delta, something like that. And you've got channel deposits where big dinosaur skeletons have stacked up, like you can see at Dinosaur National Monument, which is not too far from here. And then overbank deposits that would be laid down by seasonal flood events that help record the little things that were attracted by that river system. And that's kind of the place we're looking at now. These sort of gray hills likely record playas or evaporitic kind of seasonal ponds that would have been on the flanks of that river system. And it would have drawn a lot of life around. So a day like today, with occasional little fluffy clouds, a bit of a breeze, it probably won't quite get to 90, or maybe not much above 90, is about as good as you can probably hope for. Not too hot, not too windy, but about right. And you can't order these kind of fossils on Amazon. You can't grow them in a lab. So I mean, this is data collection. This is field work is lab work in a lot of ways. So the data we need to generate or test research questions comes from places like this. So you kind of have to deal with the conditions and make the most of it. But at its core, you look at the country we're in. A red fox flushed from its den at the base of this hill and ran up over the side of the neighboring hill. There's lizards and antelope, ground squirrels, and golden eagles. I mean, it really is amazing to be out here. So the field work is really what draws the majority of people to this particular research discipline. And I couldn't imagine what paleontology would be like without being out here and collecting stuff in the field. It's really the way to make an impression, a long-term impression on the field, finding something that is truly novel. There's a lot of projects you can do with existing specimens and existing data, but the only way to really push the ball downfield is to find something truly novel. And a lot of that remains to be done. There's a tremendous potential for finding something that nobody has ever seen before.